Hey, welcome to the podcast. You don't even want to introduce yourself, who you are, how you get into NFT.
My name is Finny. I've been in NFT or Web3 since 2018. I started off mostly trading, buying spots on Binance, trading coins here and there, only until late 2021, where I got involved myself in NFTs. First project is called Tasty Bones. That was like my first taste of what Web3 culture is actually like from being a community member point of view. And later on in life, started around 2023, is where I started to grind myself up on the ladder, and I joined my current agency called Surgence, mainly handling marketing, dealing with clients. I don't know. We do a lot of things.
Interesting.
Yeah, we do a lot of things.
First of all, we pre-prepped for the topics, and if something came in mind, while we're talking, I can just ask that question also.
Yeah, I think it's nice to be like when I did my broadcasts on X, right, with clients and everything like that. There's a set of questions that I have, and like people who join us on the broadcast have also, right? So they know what they're gonna be asked. But the thing is that when you're actually doing the broadcast, things actually never go to plan.
Yeah.
For example, like question 1 happens, and then the question 1 kind of bleeds into question 3. So then you have to kind of lead the question, like, oh yeah, speaking on this point, what do you think about like then question 3? Like for example, whitelist flipping or like things like that, right? And then you have to go back then to like try to like lead the conversation back to question 2. It keeps hopping like that. It's never like one smooth flow. Because if you actually like have a conversation, it's never like straight mode. It's always like zigzag, left, right, center, everywhere. But as long as the conversation like flows, it's smooth. It's like you're actually having a conversation, right? So then people will actually become more like chill. They actually want to talk, raise up questions, saying their opinions and ideas. Like, oh, like that. Yeah, actually, speak on that point. It's like for me, like that joint black has. It's like, oh yeah, from my experience being in Web3 and being a content creator, I actually had to deal a lot with like clients who are rude, like with projects who are rude, So, and then it's be like, and sometimes you have to come up with your own questions, right? Too, right?
Yeah.
You don't stick with it. Like, oh yeah. So then it's like, oh, what about you, that project, well, what do you think about this opinion, like about founders who are like a rude,
No.
Yeah. So there's like
it's a little bit of everywhere. So you, even if you have the things prepped, you just like go with the flow, or whatever.
Because if you try to stick to a script, it will look so unnatural.
How was your first time doing it actually? Did you like when you prepare the script and?
I don't have a script. I just have questions.
Yeah. I mean the questions.
Yeah, I have like 10-15 questions, but I never went through all of them. I just have them. I send them to the people joining, and they have no idea. Have an idea what I'm gonna ask. They don't have to be like blindsided, but they have it. I have it. Then we start a conversation. So it's like, oh, like what's your experience like being like out in Web3? What you're currently working on? And then main questions สำหรับ founder, main questions สำหรับเนี่ยJoel guest, special guest ให้จะสู้ขึ้นตัวเป็น more and more, and then you try to like make them talk to each other too, so it's not always you. And then enjoy.
But if like it's also a problem if like your guest doesn't really know how to speak. They can only like ask questions. I mean answer questions. Like we ask a certain question, they're just like
Then there's something that you really can do. That's like if the person is like that, then what do you really do? Is like you have to kind of like kind of know them beforehand. Because if you just ask them and they just like straight up give like one answer to your questions, like that's a conversation. It's not a real conversation, you know.
Speaking about this, like mostly like, what's the purpose of podcasts? I mean, not just podcasts, like AMAs, especially on X.
On
Like, what's
X?
the purpose on it? Yeah, people just like come.
Marketing.
It's just marketing.
Yeah, purely marketing. Because, for example, when you have projects who have decent, if they're already established and they want more eyes in the project, they like to invite special guests who are like popular, like Sanjay ấy chẳng á.
Yeah.
Put Wolf Dow ấy cho tới. Put nắng we mean like already their followers that maybe that kind of like target audience that they want. But as long as like the goal is to have like as many eyes on your project as possible.
Like for one AMA, what's the price?
I don't know. I never like directly deal with it.
Oh, okay. You're just the host.
Yeah, put them KL manager cái trò that deal. I invite cho đi năng. I think it's around like 1K-ish if you're like really popular or
For
something.
an hour.
Yeah, an hour, 30 minutes depends. But
Do the guests get paid
yeah, the guests get paid.
for joining?
Yeah, just for joining because they bring in their audience. That's it.
For me, I don't think like.
It's
Well,
not
I don't know. AMA for me, I feel like it's a good thing for a community, but it's not worth where you can spend your money on.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's just like to have, but
It's only kind of good if you manage to get a lot of people, a lot of different projects. But then the issue is still it being too big, too nhai.
yeah, on next especially.
Yeah, for example, you have like 5 different projects on like a AMA broadcast.
Yeah,
That's a kind of bit too many.
yeah,
Every time I see those kind of thing, it looks just too complicated.
and messy.
Yeah, I'd rather have like okay, just one or two who's involved, and then maybe like one special guest who kind of like had background or like work around like a team member, and then that lead, that host. The third more is kind of like a round table. You
Kind of
talk,
thing.
the win, not like you saw, and then you have to sue this person, this person, you know. Actually, clear. That's the end goal.